House bill that was approved in a pretty much down the center party line Democrat-Republican vote. 222 yes to 190 no. To approve a committee to investigate the January 6th riot. This is from NPR. Let's see. Okay, so Nancy Pelosi is the mastermind behind this bill. She has been quoted saying, "We have a duty to the Constitution and to the American people to find the truth of January 6th and ensure that such an assault on our democracy never happens again." Basically, it is a partisan committee, or a bipartisan committee built of people that Nancy Pelosi picks and the Republican leader of the House, the minority leader. Let me find his name really fast here. Oh, Jesus Christ. I know it's in this article. Anyway, the minority leader is the leader of the Republicans in the House. So Nancy Pelosi is going to appoint people to this committee, and he is also going to appoint people, but she has to approve them, which is kind of stupid. This is what happens when one side of the aisle has a majority and they have power and they know how to use their power. And the tactics here are okay in my view. It's just the substance that they're using the tactics for, in my view, are completely fucking stupid. Essentially, we have a January 6th committee that would be a panel. The panel would face challenges confronted. Let's see. The panel would have subpoena power. It would have a total of 13 members, with 8 selected by Pelosi, the remaining 5 selected by the House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy. But Pelosi has not ruled out a veto of McCarthy's selection if the appointments aren't made with her consultation. Let's see. So essentially this committee really doesn't really have any guidelines or ground rules. It's just a committee of legislators chosen by Nancy Pelosi that would have pretty much unfettered power and unfettered access to do whatever they want, to subpoena whatever they want, to look into whoever they want for as long as they want. There's no time constraint on anything. This should scare the fuck out of you, okay? I don't care if it's a commission looking into 9/11, if it's a commission looking into January 6th, if it's a commission looking into all the mass shootings that we've had. Regardless, there needs to be more ground rules for what these commissions or committees are allowed to do, right? Because right now there's not. There's none. I'm reading through my notes because I'm so flustered about this. I have to reread this. So I don't want to sound like the government conspiracy guy, right? Where they're overreaching and they're taking control of your life. But this is Exhibit A about how this would work, because this is going to give the federal government unlimited access to investigate, subpoena, and look into whoever they want for no specific reason without any evidence. They can look into regular Americans. They can look into private citizens. They can look into other politicians, other public figures, former presidents' staff members. They can look into this 13-people commission. They can look into whoever they want. And it should scare you simply because of the reason why we don't need a January 6th commission or committee to investigate what happened, because we know what happened. I did a video about this fucking weeks ago, month ago, 2 months ago now, when this whole thing was started. If you haven't seen it, I'll put a link. You should go watch it. And there have been a lot of people who have been talking about this from my point of view as well. We don't need a commission to investigate what happened on January 6th. We know We know what happened on January 6th. Everybody does. There was no collusion with anybody in the former President Trump's staff, with people who broke in. There was no collusion with the police officers. There was a bunch of people who were gaslit by the mainstream media and people like Alex Jones and Donald Trump into legitimately believing that democracy was coming to an end. And there were a certain number of those people who had nothing else better to do. They're pissed off because they've lost their job for the last year. They're pissed off because the system has abandoned them. So they took their aggression out on the people's house. Okay. And it was a logistical failure on the part of DC. It was a logistical failure on the part of the Capitol Police. They didn't have enough men there. They didn't have enough equipment there. Their riot shields were locked in a bus somewhere that they couldn't get to. There was warning signs all over social media that were public to everyone to find. Everybody knew that there was going to be a mass gathering outside of the Capitol. Okay. And people in charge didn't do anything. They didn't do anything to act. They didn't do anything to fortify the perimeter. They didn't do anything to even a what if situation. They just went on their own ignorant way, and what happened is what happened. Okay, a bunch of people broke in, a couple people died, and it was truly a horrific event. Okay. I am not discounting the fact that it was a horrible event, okay? I'm not old enough to remember 9/11. I'm not. 9/11 happened in 2001. I was 3 years old. I don't remember that. But I remember January 6th. I remember watching it live, and I remember thinking, holy fucking shit, this is actually happening. And it was scary. It was scary to watch. But once everything calmed down and we figured out what happened, we know what happened. We know how it happened, and we know how to prevent it next time. So now that people like Nancy Pelosi are in the government saying that we need to have a 9/11 style commission and look into what happened on January 6th is terrifying, because I am old enough to remember 2013 and 2014 when Edward Snowden released all of the stuff that he released with the help of Glenn Greenwald and other journalists at The Guardian. I'm old enough to remember that. That's actually what kind of sparked my political curiosity, to be honest with you. And this is going to set the precedent for the exact same thing to happen again. Okay? All the spying, all of the, domestic NSA and FBI looking into private citizens that they have no right to look into, spying, wiretapping, looking through your personal records on your computer without your knowledge, all that stuff that spawned after 9/11 that had been going on up until the point that Edward Snowden decided to release everything. That's going to happen again if this passes and if this goes through. And it can't happen again, because last time somebody was brave enough to tell the public about it. And that person is living in Moscow now because he can't come back to the United States. He can't come back to his home country because they will probably put him in prison for the rest of his life. So with that knowledge, nobody's going to blow the whistle again if something like this were to happen again. And if this commission happens, this committee happens, it will happen again. Okay, there's already been some leaks about how the NSA is starting to get into their old habits again. And if we allow public officials to be able to just spy on regular day, everyday Americans with no rules on what they can look for, what they can't look for, how long they can investigate somebody, what they can subpoena, what they can't subpoena, if we don't have ground rules on where the line is, then I don't know. I don't know what would happen, because I don't want to think about what would happen, because it's terrifying. This is stupid. This is playing to the culture war. And quite frankly, it's political suicide, because anyone who is either, pushing for this and it doesn't happen, that's going to give your opponent the ammo to say, hey, They tried to push for a bullshit commission and they couldn't even get that passed. So why would you want to reelect that person, right? And if it does go through, that gives the other side ammo to say, hey, they passed a commission giving politicians the opportunity and pretty much the freedom to spy on you and reach even further into your life and take even more of your privacy away. Either way you look at it, this is political suicide for anybody who wants to be involved in this commission, whether they like it or not. So from a political angle, it's stupid. And from a privacy angle, from a Fourth Amendment angle, it is stupid. Let me just Google search that and make sure I said the right amendment. I'm pretty sure the Fourth Amendment is the search and seizure one, right? Yeah, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effect against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by the oath, affirmation, blah, 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 depicting place search, yeah. This is the... somebody please explain to me how this wouldn't violate the Fourth Amendment if they're going to just spy on us for no reason. All because of the fact that I shared a meme on Facebook about Donald Trump, or about the fact, or someone's, spreading an Alex Jones conspiracy theory about how the election was stolen. Well, that's enough for the FBI and the NSA to pretty much follow you around and spy on you and make sure that you weren't involved in the January 6th riot, or you're not planning another riot. That's what's going to happen. And I hate that this is the final segment because I don't want to leave on a negative note, but it's scary. And I keep headbutting my microphone. I'm really sorry. This is terrifying. And I can't stress enough how we need to be worried if this goes through. I don't know if it needs to go through another legislative process. I don't know if this is going to be a law technically, because if it is, it needs to pass the Senate and it needs to be signed by the president. And in the fall, this was already shot down by the Senate. So I don't know if this is just a House committee that is being set up. And if that's the case, then it's already set up and they're probably spying on people right now. I'm not sure how this is going to work, but I will keep my eye on it and I will let you.